begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Okay, welcome to the Village of Wappingers Falls regular monthly meeting, the Mayor and Board of Trustees. Today's Wednesday, November 13th. Please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just one announcement from my end of it is we had a very nice turnout at Veterans Day up at the MIA Park. Commander Chase was unable to be there this year, probably for the first time in 40 years. He's preparing for a medical procedure.
And I got a couple of things. We'd like to thank Chris Moores and his helper, I don't know who that is, for doing the stairs at the gazebo. Great job. And the Park Commission for the tree this year. Looked good last night. Thank you.
Roll call. Mayor Huber.
Present.
Trustee Nicholas.
Here.
Trustee Chilisak.
Here.
Trustee Nash.
Here.
Trustee Marshall. Absent. Trustee Ruffin.
Here.
Trustee Smith.
He's sick.
Absent. Village Attorney Lindars.
Present.
Action on minutes. Regular Village Board meeting, October 9th.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Second monthly Village Board meeting, October 30th.
Get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorization to pay bills as per approved warrants.
Get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Regular session. Resolution number 3524 of 2024, resolution employing legal service to the Village of Wappingers Falls Village Board.
Can we get a motion?
I'll make the motion to employ legal services to the village board.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 3624 of 2024, resolution employing legal services, special prosecutor for the Village of Wappingers Falls.
Can we get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I've been in receipt of a memorandum of understanding between Grinnell Library and the Village of Wappingers Falls with respect to Wi-Fi in Mizzier Park. Village Attorney,
Yeah, there was some discussion with Grinnell Library about this. There were some modifications to this MOU. I'm looking at this now. There was some late modifications that weren't reflected on this. I think we need to have those reflected. Can we table this to our next meeting? And then we can have the MOU reflect exactly what it should be. And then, and if there's any questions from the board on this, I can be available to answer those.
we have a motion to table the MOU.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Accept Officer Levy's resignation, November 13, 2024.
Can we get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to accept Officer Amore's resignation, November 8th.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
This next item was a carryover from the last meeting discussion about the boathouse rental rules and fees. Any progress on that?
So I handed out to everybody, I got from Charlie, of what they're proposing to go to legislation. If you guys would look through this, have any comments?
So legislative committee met on all these items.
Yep.
We were looking at usage, so, you know, like on number 2, line 2, you know, we didn't want to say all events, maybe particularly any organized event greater than such and such, like 12 persons.
Okay.
We also looked at, you know, like Porta Johns, place 24 hours before an event, remove 24 hours after. So just to add specific guidelines to this park usage guideline, a fee schedule, to just, you know, make it very clear, like, this is what we want, this is what we're looking for. And especially, again, a thank you to Charlie and the Parks Committee, and Beth, and John Tilichek, and Rec, who actually did the first draft of these and put these together. You guys did a lot of hard work, and we appreciate that.
Maybe we can sit down with you guys if you wanna share through it, or.
So then on page 2, we had a lot of questions on legislative, because you'll see like the time limits are between 2 to 4 hours. And then we have other events that are like undefined, and then the fee schedule. So I did have a chance to speak with Charlie, albeit it was before the meeting today, and we don't want to call it, go ahead.
I don't think we have that copy.
No, you don't, so you don't have these things, we had these on legislative. So 6 hours for an event, maybe charge 65, and then 130 for non-resident. But, here's the thing, I need some direction for the board to amend these. Does the board feel that the rental should include, re-roofing the building in the future? You know, what's the vision? Do we want to use rec fees from maybe the Buckingham project to pay for a roof? Do you know what I mean? That, this building, we all know it's going to need a roof. Do we want that included in the fee schedule? So then other things we discussed during legislative and after our legislative committee meeting, and we weren't able to come to a conclusion, who's opening the building, who's inspecting the building, who's the person who's responsible for calling the cleaner, who's cleaning it if the people renting it don't clean it? Are we gonna have Janet Averill clean it, who cleans all the other buildings? I mean, that's a possibility. But we have a lot of nuanced questions here.
Okay.
So we don't wanna propose something that's, you know, incomplete, and then have questions of, well, what do we do? And then it has to come back to the board because we don't have a,
So let's all take a look at this.
yeah.
We can, you know,
Can we just set like a specific date or something for this, or date that we're gonna have this done by, so we can present it maybe? Do you wanna have it by next meeting, like a proposed final draft or something? So
Yeah, we can do that.
just,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I propose, I'm sorry.
Like, this would be like a rough draft here. We need to answer those questions. Now, when we spoke, you know, I mean, how did you feel about recreation committee going down and inspecting the building and then opening it up on a Sunday or multiple times on a holiday?
Right, we have a lot of questions we have to answer, so I'd like to have another proposed draft, but I don't want, the building's closed for the season, we've got some time. I wanted to answer all the questions. Where's the money gonna go? All of those questions,
Right.
yeah. What do we do if somebody doesn't clean it? What are our enforcement mechanisms? All of that. So yeah, would not say a final draft by next meeting, but I'd like to review another draft next meeting. Let's go along so we get it right.
And then one of the other key items to talk about was alcohol permitting. We were thinking of having the people, if they have an event that they're going to propose alcohol, that they'll need to have some kind of insurance in case anybody gets hurt, gets sick, whatever happens, you know, with that. But those are the main stumbling blocks, like who's implementing this. Now, again, in our conversation today, myself and Charlie Ferry, we revisited the past. They had, at some point, I'm not sure of the particular date, but a meeting with the town of Wappinger, and it was discussed about their head of recreation, which was Jessica.
Fulton.
Okay, thank you. Taking over the boathouse rental, but then they would be collecting any fees, and the village would possibly, forgive me if I'm wrong on this, but we would be responsible for the upkeep of the building. So that doesn't seem like that's a great deal to the village either.
Well, I expressed my opinion on that at Monday's meeting down at the courthouse of Parks, and how I felt was, this is our building, and the taxpayers' dollars went into this building, and we're gonna split money with the town, possibly lose money, right? Maybe it's something we'll
Yeah.
think about, so.
My main consideration, when I look at this project, guys, is this building needs a roof 5 years ago, okay? Who's paying for that? So far, that's one of the main stumbling blocks, and that's why this building does not have a 4-season CO, and it has a CO that includes 3 seasons of use with no mechanicals. So on a 100-degree day, there's no air conditioning in the building, so you're gonna be like spitzing, sweating all over the place, and nobody's gonna wanna be in there with this, this brick just emanating heat on you. So the ultimate goal is to get the roof done on this building, get the CO issued, and then have the mechanicals, the heat and the AC in the building to really make it comfortable. Right?
So let's set up a meeting with Parks and Rec and legislated on this way we all got,
Can we talk about that now, or do we have to wait till the end?
just wait till the end, we're almost done. This way we all can, everybody's on the same page.
Right, but like a plan, that's where we want to be, maybe in, 2
Yeah.
3 years. I mean, we were jokingly calling it a roof tax if you want to rent the building. You have to pay, into the kitty for the new roof. But that's, we don't have the arbitrary budget on this.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Just set up a meeting with Parks and Rec, and this way everybody's got it. Okay.
So what do you want to do? Table it till the next meeting?
Table it to the next meeting? Or, it'd be the next, in December's meeting.
Just keep it open.
Yeah, keep it open.
Discussion car 3, fire vehicle, transferred to the police department, or should I auction it? That was tabled from the last meeting.
So what's the board's pleasure on the chief's car?
I think at the last meeting, we said we're gonna put that on the agenda to discuss at this meeting, so we never
Yep.
discuss it in the executive session. So I think that's what part of our executive this time
Alright,
was. So we hadn't noticed it.
Okay. All right.
Put it in exec.
Yeah, that's for the
Yeah.
exec, yeah.
William T. Gardner Engine Company voted in a new member, Michael Kennedy, to active duty. Can I have a motion to accept that correspondence?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The treasurer and I, as deputy treasurer, would have to do some housekeeping. Approval to move $874 from fire contractual to the fire chief's car purchase.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve these housekeeping items.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Approval to move $767 from 8320 to contractual 8340, training for 2 employees who are trained for operators licenses.
Get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
While we're on that subject, New York Class is an investment company where the treasurer has taken tax money and put it into New York Class as an investment. So rather than have the tax money sit collecting hardly anything, in 3 months, we've collected $19,500 in interest for that money. That's a home run. Water Department got $3,100, sewer got $2,500, residential garbage got $1,100. So that's a big plus in that she took upon herself to do that. I also handed out all the financials tonight, each of the board members. You have that. That's for the month. She puts that together every month for you as well. Okay, Mayor, that concludes the printed portion of the agenda. Oh, no, sorry.
Update.
Police report.
Okay. For the month of October. Calls for service, 227 total. There were 6 arrest made, 41 traffic tickets issued. There was 4 domestic disturbances, 8 larcenies, 0 on drug complaints, 2 criminal mischief, 12 accidents, 1 assault, 7 burglar alarms. We had, unfortunately, had 27 medical calls. Other than that, and there was 2 parking tickets. So that's the police report. For now, we'll leave it at that. If the commissioner's got anything he'd like to add to any of that.
Yeah, well, just real quick, I just wanted, because we lost 2 officers that resigned, I just wanted to thank them both for their dedicated service to the Wapengers. Although I didn't have an opportunity to meet Officer Armour, I did, spend some time with Levy, and he was, he did quite a few things at the job, and he's going to be missed, and I wish them both the best of luck in their future.
Thank you.
Finance, trustee Nicholas.
So for last batch of vouchers, 140 of them total for about $460,000. The biggest being the Tri-Muni Sewer, 200,000, followed by Royal Carting. Our garbage is about 43,000 a month. Made bond payments totaling about $220,000. I couldn't get a number for our contingency or where we are with our budget for the year. I'll have to get those next time.
Highway, trustee Tilisak.
Okay, so the highway guys are continuing leaf pickup. That will continue until 11/30/2024, so please get your leaves out now. Central Hudson has completed all planned road work. Road striping will be taking place next to St. Mary's. And there will be road construction and repaving from Elm Street to Mizzier in the near future. A reminder to everybody that the snow ordinance, even though we are changing it, will be in effect during snowstorms, and you need to move your vehicles when there is snow predicted. Failure to do so may result in your vehicle being towed. And the guys have done a really good job cleaning the streets and cleaning the leaves, so thank you.
Tom, you got anything you want to add to that?
The road construction will be Elm Street, and then another road construction will be from the police station light up to Mizzier, south-north Mizzier intersection there.
And I also want to thank those guys because we've been able to sell some used equipment to help out with village finance that wasn't being used to help out with village finances a little bit. Thank you.
John,
Fire, trustee Nicholas.
that would be me, John.
Sure.
So there were 29 fire calls month to date. This has not been a good month due to what I found out from the mayor was, when did you put the burn ban in effect? I think it was the 28th. 28th, yeah, that I found out the hard way on the 29th. But 29 fire calls month to date. Total number of calls so far were 329 year to date. Mutual aid given was, them to us was 114. Mutual aid us to them was 129 fire calls. We went to New Hackensack 4 times. Our guys went to Houstonville 1 time. New Hamburg, okay, this is pretty intense. The numbers don't seem to work because it says 129 times on the report I have, but it also said given was a total of 129. So my count seems like it's more like 134 was total calls from us to them, not 129, but I'll have to check with the fire chief on that. This was his reporting, and I'm lucky to have it from him. New Hamburg, the Wappingers Falls, was 114 times for mutual aid received. That concludes the fire report.
So the fire department, both fire departments having member problems, and they come up with an agreement with running mutual aid together to help each other out during the day and night, because there's a lot of lack of members in both houses, including the Hamburg, believe it or not. So we've been running with them, they've been running with us. So that's why you see the yellow fire engine in the village lately. So, a lot lately. All right.
Lake.
Nothing for Lake.
I don't know if I'm on safety. We had a very bad safety situation exist in the basement of the police department about a year ago. The boiler there was in terrible shape. It smelled, kerosene was terrible. It was just a mess. It was probably about a 50-year-old boiler, and we're spending more on it for fuel oil and repairs than it was really worth. So the board invested in taking that out. It's been totally removed. The tanks have been removed. And in place of it, for the basement, are electric heaters, approved electric heaters. That work is almost complete. For the second floor, oh, by the way, there are 2 heating systems in that building. The newer part in the back had its own heat pump, but the front radiators were still on that old boiler. So what we're going to do on the front part of the old building is hook into the ductwork that's there for the new portion that had been renovated and shoot that over into the front part. But we have an office up there that has absolutely no heat at all. That's the commissioner's office. So I asked to get some estimates on how we can get a unit there and still conform to the historic portion of that building. In other words, we just can't stick something in the window or outside the walls because it's an historic building, and we have to figure out a way on how we can accommodate that office without saddling the building with something that's unsightly. So from a safety point of view, I'm glad that we got the boiler out, we got the new electric installed for the heaters for the changing rooms, and the other big room that's down there, the evidence room. So that part is nearly complete. And Commissioner, I will work as hard as I can to get you heat. I know you can see your breath in that office, but I will get that done. Our next meeting with PERMA is our comp carrier that we have for the village, and I have a committee of 4 who we meet with regularly. We will start beginning our meetings in January again, where we go around to the different buildings and we see if we have any violations, and if we do, we correct them. So don't forget, 2 years ago, the village of Wappingers Falls was leading New York State with an award for being the most safe municipality. And we want to maintain that. Safety for our employees is of the highest importance in whatever we do. That concludes the safety portion of it. Recreation, Trustee Tilisak.
The holiday tree lighting will be on Saturday, the 30th of November. Parade going right down 9D here to Mizzier Park. Please come and enjoy and welcome Santa to the village. That's it for recreation.
Water, Mayor.
All right, so really nothing going on in water. We had a change yesterday in the membership. Trustee Mash, liaison to the water board, and Water Commissioner Stephen Plank is the new water commissioner.
Personnel, Trustee Tilisak.
We continue to work towards the highway superintendent position, dealing with that. That's it for personnel.
I'm a member of the Tri-Muni Commission, and we still have a moratorium on not allowing anyone new to hook into our sewer system until we've increased our capacity. It's a sizable amount of money needed to do that. So we're in the process of working with engineers and other groups to obtain grant money for that purpose.
How big is sizable, roughly?
22 million.
Sizable.
Okay, Mayor, and Board, that concludes the printed portion of today's agenda.
Anybody from the board have any comments?
What was the amount of retrofit money for the water plant looking like? Because I wasn't at this week's water board meeting. What is the latest numbers to retrofit the plant with the green sand filters look like? 5 million, 8 million? Where are we sort of landing here?
But with water plant, green sand filter, I think they were gonna rehab a well, like 5 million.
5 million? Okay. I think that was the low number, right? And then there was a higher number if things go wrong.
No, 5 million was the high.
That was the high number? Okay. All right, thank you.
I think it was 3 million for the green sand.
Trustee Nicholas had raised a valid point that the electric usage of the water plant to pump the water through these green sand filters will be like, Joe, do you remember what you said, like tripled?
Well, it's gonna be roughly an additional between, depending on where it is, I haven't gotten there, but looking at our electric bills, between $40,000 and $70,000 a year increase in electric costs.
Yeah.
They don't like to tell you that sand filters put a big back pressure on your pumping systems. I've been involved with a few of them in my career, and it's a lot. And your pumps wear out sooner too, because you have all that back pressure on your seals, bearings and impellers. But the electricity will skyrocket.
No, thank you. I just thought the public would want to know that.
Why are we getting those?
With the manganese.
Yeah, all that brown sludge in your toilet tank when you look in there? No? I do. You can come look at mine. You tell me when.
What's there? All right, I'll go picture for it. So what does this mean? Our water bill's gonna go up more?
Yeah, that's what it means, yes.
Let's close the meeting out before we do the public comments still.
Okay.
Anybody else? Public. House?
Well, that's what I'm saying, our water bill's gonna go up more now. Maybe
if
we
you-
ought to just keep buying from Poughkeepsie instead of doing this. I don't know, we got a brand new water plant and we keep putting money.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree, but,
It's a lot of money for a green sand filter.
yeah. It's a lot of money for retired people and all the residents trying to keep up with their homes.
Yeah. We're looking in for grants for that, so.
That is ridiculous.
Anybody else?
The engineers that did that didn't look into it very much, did
No.
they?
No.
Jennifer Mission 3 Common Drive.
So I had a question about the resolution for legal services. Is that for a specific event, or are you just looking for coverage for?
That was prompted by the district attorney who had requested a resolution for legal services. And since it was done by a motion in the reorg, we're just backfilling that with a written resolution, so we can now send that to the district attorney.
My second question is the boathouse. Now, the boathouse was a $150,000 grant that we had gotten to share with 3 municipalities. But when it came to redoing the boathouse, the cost was not shared with 3 municipalities. All of that cost, which was several $100,000 extra, I believe, fell on the village of Wappingers Falls. So, and now there's still more money that has to be put in the roof. So why we would even entertain letting another municipality take any money out of this municipality until they have paid the share of what went into that building, to me sounds extremely ridiculous. So I hope you're considering the fact that we have hundreds of thousands of dollars into that building, and it's still not even done.
I believe your sentiment echoes the sentiment of this board.
Okay. And the other question I had was an update on the police department. I know I was here last month and we had some concerns and you were going to look into them and you were going to give us an update on the amount of officers that we've had and shifts that weren't being covered and what we're doing to make sure that we cover these shifts, rehiring police officers. So I was hoping to, I noticed that we just lost 2 more police officers. So I know that there's a lot going on out there that probably won't be spoken in this room, but what is there anything that we're doing? Is there an update? We had asked for an update last month.
I met with the commissioner this afternoon. He has 3 new applications, correct? And one person's in training right now. He's on the road. I think he has a couple more weeks left, and then he can go out on his own.
So we are hiring more officers.
Correct.
Trying.
We're
Trying
looking,
to-
we're trying, we're looking.
Okay, because like I said, I know there's a big push that we need to survive to the end of the year. So I hope that you have a plan in place to aid in anything that can be done to help us get to the end of this year.
Oh, I'm definitely trying. I reached out to Dutchess County Human Resource. I met them in my office 2 weeks ago. I have reached out to County Exec Steve Serino for some help. Rob Fowles, County Visitor Rob Fowles,
What is the goal to replace Jen Farrell?
just hiring.
That position hasn't been thought of, or no one's applied for that position? Why is it a personnel matter?
I'm not asking you a particular question, I was speaking to myself, my apologies.
Well, I heard you, and that's what
Okay.
I mean, that should be an easy enough position to fill. Well, they're trying to hang on by the skin of their teeth. I just would like to know that as a board and as a mayor, that we are doing everything we can do to aid that.
I am doing everything I can do to aid that. 2 weeks ago, I spent my whole vacation at the police station. And with the PBA president and the vice president, on my whole vacation, for the problems.
I get it, and I know my time is probably out, but I'm going to say one last thing. I know somebody that personally applied to that police department that could have been used this whole time and was not hired. Was not hired. And I know you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, we talked about it tonight.
Okay? Put an application in a month and a half ago. Former employee that was an excellent employee and was sent a letter home to his house saying that you are not hiring at this time. So as much as I want to give you my trust that you're doing everything you can, that alarms me a lot. Okay?
We talked about that this afternoon.
It's been a month and a half.
All right.
Anything else?
Anybody else?
Charlie Berry, 20 Park Street. I just had a question about a report that came to the board during the financial segment. It's a financial report that the treasurer submits monthly, and one of that report is available on the village's website, along with the agenda.
Could be. Put it on.
I haven't seen it.
Never seen it on
but
there?
If the board wants it out there, I'll make sure it gets out there. Does the board want it out there?
I think we should put it out there.
I think it should be a public record.
Yeah.
the village board packet is public record, unless there's something that has to be redacted or isn't public for some exemption reason, but
Yeah.
it's supposed to be available to the public, the same information the board has, so we know it's being discussed and everything.
I'd say we put it out there.
I will make a point of making sure it's out there
Thank you.
every month.
Great.
Thanks, Charlie. Anybody else?
Hi, Rose Vance at Dutchess Avenue. I have a couple of questions. First of all, I want to thank whoever it was that was responsible for getting those stairs fixed so rapidly. I really do appreciate that. It's awesome. Thank you.
It was Chris Morris and his father.
Okay, thank you. The other thing is this a replacement, this resolution, for the attorney for the board?
No, again, it's the appointment was originally done by motion, which is very similar to a resolution, but a resolution is a formal writing of a motion. Okay? There was a request from the district attorney to have that in place for a special prosecutor. So we've essentially just taken what was done by motion and just formalized it in writing.
Back in reorder. Weird.
Yeah, it
And
was
how much
done-
is that costing the village, the taxpayers?
It's the same contract that it's been for the
Well,
last.
that's what I just asked. Is this a replacement? So basically, it's just it's just
Breaking down
replacing,
by voice vote.
okay, so it's not really anybody
No
that's
change.
been hired?
No
It's
change.
just, okay,
No
okay,
change.
gotcha.
Status
Okay,
quo.
now I understand. Okay, thank you. The other thing I was wondering about is, why is the purchase or what we're going to do with the old fire vehicle, why is that done in executive session? Why is that have to be discussed at executive session? Why can't the residents know what's going on, or what each one of our elected officials feels about that?
I don't know exactly why we're going to executive
When we
session.
brought it up last time, they said we should discuss it in executive, maybe because we had so many different opinions going back and forth across the board.
Well, I just think,
There's a legal issue with regards to how it's being handled, that can be discussed in an executive session. Otherwise, it would not fall into one of the exceptions to the open meeting rule. So it is something that could be discussed in open meeting, unless there's a particular legal issue that needs to be discussed, which I'm not aware of, so, or at least haven't been made aware of it. So.
because I just think it's really important for people who live in certain, wards to know how their respective trustees voted towards things and whether or not they are like-minded come the next election. So I think that's important to know. And the other thing is the personnel. All I heard so far was that for the highway super. Where's the police department? Who's putting out?
So how the police department works is the commissioner does all the hiring.
Okay, yeah, no, I understand that, but that people are just supposed to fall into the village and know that they're hiring?
They got ads out on, I think Indeed we talked about, was it Indeed?
Well, what I'm saying is personnel should have brought that up as well. If we are looking for police officers, that should be being worked on as well.
That is being worked on. My apologies to you.
Okay.
That goes through the.
No problem, I just
and the personnel
wanted to
committee.
make sure that that is being done, because it seems like every meeting, we keep hearing of resignations, but no appointments. And so, as a village resident, my safety matters.
So how it always has worked was the police commissioner always done all the hiring.
Right.
So the village hall really never saw the application
Yeah.
until the police commissioner submitted it to us. And
Right.
so-
Well, I get it, but like I said, I mean, people aren't going to just run into the village knowing that we're looking. So if it's not out there in the public that we're in need, and it sounds to me, not for nothing, it sounds like we're in desperate need.
Wouldn't disagree with
Okay,
you.
we're in desperate need of somebody to do something, and I mean, fairly quickly. Because like I said, my safety is at risk. Every time my safety is at risk, and officer's safety is at risk every time you put one of them. And when we talk about safety officer, okay, that should be priority. We have officers going out there by themselves. So let's think about their safety as well, okay?
Anybody else?
Hi, Lisa. I don't know if you know who I am, but my name's Keith Gannon. I know two of you out of the seven of you.
Come on up.
I'm sorry, my name's not on the agenda, but I am up for discussion tonight. I just wanted at least so you guys can put a face with a name. And I'm here if you have any questions. I made sure to drop off the correspondence to your office today.
Yep.
I just want to let you know I am here. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know.
All right, great, thanks. Anybody else?
I have a motion to go into executive session.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.